चरणकमल. चरणकमल चित्त रहिए Shree Krishna's चरणकमल, lotus feet. O Krishna, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. Those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. Srimad Bhagavatam. Charanakamal Chitta Rahiye. Meditating on the lotus feet of Shri Radha and Shri Krishna. Athapite Deva Padambuja Dvaya Prasada Lesanugrihita Evahi Janate Tattvam Bhagwan Mahimno Na Chanyo Eka Pichiram Vichinnam. Shri Krishna, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand your Supreme Personality are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. Srimad Bhagavatam. Devotional service to Sri Krishna essentially means taking shelter of the lotus feet, Charanakamal. The lotus feet of Sri Radha and Sri Krishna are the only asset of the devotees. Padasevanam, or serving the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, is one of the most essential limbs of bhakti. Naudha Bhakti also states, unless one surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Lord, there is no possibility of attaining the ultimate goal of life, which is attainment of love of Krishna. But what is so special about serving the lotus feet of the Lord? To touch someone's feet, serving someone's feet, is a sign of humility. Even today, in the Sanatan Vedic Hindu culture, children are taught to touch the feet of their elders, and therefore they are compared to lotus flowers. In Sanskrit, they are often described as Chananaravinda, Padaravinda, Padapadma, Charana Kamala, the glories of the lotus feet of Sri Krishna and the need to take shelter on them. One who takes shelter of Krishna's lotus feet attains the same opulences as the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam. Shukdevji Maharaj, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them, whereas the waters of the Ganges, Ganga, can sanctify after prolonged use. Srimad Bhagavatam goes on to describe the experience of devotees who relish the nectar of Krishna's lotus feet. Even though a devotee of Lord Krishna sometimes falls down somehow or other, he certainly does not undergo material existence like others, because a person who has once relished the taste of the lotus feet of the Lord can do nothing but remember the ecstasy again and again. Srimad Bhagavatam. In chapter 10.82 Srimad Bhagavatam, the gopis spoke, "Dear Lord, whose navel is just like a lotus flower, your lotus feet are the only shelter for those who have fallen into the deep well of material existence. Your feet are worshipped and meditated upon by great mystic yogis and highly learned philosophers. We wish that this lotus feet, Charanakamal, may also be awakened within our hearts, although we are only ordinary persons engaged in household affairs. Krishna's lotus feet, Chरणकमल, Chandrada Kalash tri-kona, Dhanushika, Gospada, prosthikah, Shankha, Savyapade, Tha, Dakshina, Pade Konashtaka, Swastikam, Chakra Chhatra, Yavankusha, Dwaja, Pavi, Jamburdware, Kambuja, Pipraha na, Harim Unavishat, Imaha Lakshmi Architan Griha Bhaje. I worship Lord Hari Shree Krishna, whose feet are endowed with 19 great opulences. On the left foot, the half moon, the water pot, triangle, the bow, the sky, cow's hoof print, a fish, conch shell, and on the right foot, the 8-pointed star, swastika, wheel, parasol, barleycorn, elephant-goad, flag, thunderbolt, jambu fruit, urdhva-rekha, and the lotus. What is the significance of this 19? What is the significance of this 19 great opulences? The half moon, Chandrartham. This mark symbolizes how lotus feet truly provide the desired objective of the devotees. It signifies that even demigods like Lord Shiv, whose symbol is a half moon, have decorated their own heads with the soles of the feet, just as the moon showers nectar with its cooling rays. Similarly, the lotus feet shower nectar upon the devotees, extinguishing the threefold material miseries. In the minds of the devotees may reside at the feet they bear the symbol of the moon and the presiding deity of the mind upon the feet. Just as the moon is one, it destroys the darkness seen by many people simultaneously. Similarly, the Lord Shree Krishna is one, and yet by his cleverness can deliver many souls at the same time. The half moon also indicates, since the Lord's toenails appear like 10 splendorous full moons, the real moon has shriveled up in shame and appears in a half form. The pitcher or the kalash. This mark shows us the lotus feet hold the golden pitcher full of purely nectarian ambrosia to be freely consumed by the surrendered souls. This also indicates that the feet can pour out nectar that extinguishes the blazing threefold miseries of the separated devotees. The full pitcher is a symbol to show that no auspiciousness can come. The full pitcher is a symbol to show that no inauspiciousness can come near the devotees. Rather, the feet bring ripples of happiness emanating from divine auspiciousness. Triangle, tri-kona, A devotee who has taken shelter of Shree Krishna's lotus feet becomes free from the three modes of material nature. In all the three worlds, these feet alone can provide one proper shelter. The demigods, humans, and animals, all three find shelter at Krishna's feet. Those seeking liberation, fruitive workers, and the liberated people hanker for shelter at Sri Krishna's feet. A human being should take shelter of these feet by using his body, mind, and words. The triangle proves that the Lord is the husband of all three kinds of women, the married, the unmarried, and the prostitutes. It also proves that Krishna is the master of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiv. He is the master of Shri, Bhu, and Leela Shaktis. In his Vaman form, the Lord has conquered all three planetary systems. His feet can destroy the threefold miseries of life. Devotees of Krishna can easily obtain bhakti, jnana, and vairagya. The triangle also proves that the Lord never goes outside Vrindavan, Mathura, or Dwarika. The Lord is always eager to award bhakti equally to humans, demigods, and demons. The bow, Dhanush, this mark reveals that those who take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, Chरणकमल, will be perpetually free from all worries and difficulties. It also shows that those who are stupefied in the material world remain motionless like a target and do not come to Krishna's feet, whereas those who come to the ultimate goal of the feet remain there and never go back to the material world. Further, when the mind of the devotee meets the target of the lotus feet, then prem condenses as a result and overflows as the tears showering from the eyes. Chरणकमल, the sky calm. This mark indicates that the feet are all pervading throughout the entire creation, both within and without all the manifestations. It also shows that even though the feet are everywhere, they are unattached, just like the sky. Chरणकमल. The cow hoof, Gospada. This mark signifies that those who have taken shelter of uninterrupted meditation on the feet, the great ocean of worldly existence becomes very small and insignificant, like the water held in a calf's hoof, easily crossed over. Fish, prosthikah. This mark shows that just as a fish cannot live without water, similarly the surrendered devotees cannot live a moment without directly associating with the feet. It also means that the mind is very fickle, just like a fish that wavers this way and that, and so only after much meditation do the lotus feet finally come into the heart. It also indicates that the lotus feet, Charanakamal, will come to live in one's heart only if the heart has been liquefied by soft, loving emotions. The feet do not thrive where it is dry. This mark is an emblem flying on a banner of Cupid just to excite the desires of the Vraj Gopis. He has conquered Cupid's flag of surrender on the soles of his feet. It is also a reminder that during the great universal devastation and the flood, he assumed the form of Matsya, the fish incarnation, and saved his devotees, Charanakamal, the conch shell, also known as the Shankar. This auspicious mark indicates those who take the shelter of the lotus feet are always rescued from all sorts of distress, just as during the Aarti ceremony. The conch shell is used to hold water that is offered directly after the fire of the ghee lamp. Similarly, lotus feet hold the transcendental water that soothes his devotees from the blazing fire of material miseries. Also, this symbol proclaims ultimate victory for the devotees. Since the conch shell mark on the feet contains the entire ocean of material existence that may now be easily crossed, this mark also shows that those who resort to the lotus feet, Charanakamal, become completely fearless. This mark is also symbolic of the Jal Tattva, or the principle of water, since it was Krishna's lotus feet that manifested the river Ganga, purifier of all the world's 8-pointed star, Konashtakam. This mark indicates that those who take shelter of Shree Krishna's lotus feet, Charanakamal, are protected in all 8 directions. This also proves there is nothing in the 8 directions that a devotee cannot obtain. Devotees serving the Lord's lotus feet easily obtain the 8 mystic perfections. Charana Kamala Swastika. This sign indicates that everything becomes auspicious for a devotee who has taken shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. There is nothing inauspicious in his life. Charana Kamala. Disc Chakra. This mark cuts down the 6 enemies of the devotees: lust, anger, greed, pride, illusion, and envy. It indicates Teja Tattva, or the principle of brilliance by which the Lord destroys the darkness of sins from within his devotees' hearts. Charana Kamala. Umbrella Chhatra. This mark proves that those who take shelter of lotus feet are shielded from the incessant rainfall of material miseries, also denotes that those who sit in the shade of the feet of the Lord become exalted, just like Maharajas, great kings, who usually have umbrellas held over their heads as a mark of protocol and the significance of greatness. It also refers to the Lord Shree Krishna holding Govardhan like an umbrella to protect Vraj and all the Vrajvasis from the devastating rainfall caused by the anger of Indra. Chरणकमल. Barley corn, yava. This mark signifies that their devotees receive all enjoyable opulences of prosperity by serving the lotus feet. It also means that once one finds shelter at Sri Radha Krishna's lotus feet, the devotee's former journey through many births and deaths is actually very tiny, just like a single grain of barley. It also demonstrates as the barley grains are the sustenance of life for living beings. Similarly, widely celebrated Krishna's glorious Chरणकमल, the lotus feet, are the nourishment of all the souls. Elephant-goad, Ankush. This mark indicates the meditation on the lotus feet. Chरणकमल brings the elephants of the devotees' minds under control and keeps them on the right path. It also shows that those who stay on the path towards the feet become superior amongst all men, just as one riding on top of an elephant travels far above the rest. Flag, Dwaja. This mark announces for the devotees meditating on the Chरणकमल, the lotus feet. They give security and safe protection from all sorts of fear. Thunderbolt, Pavi. This mark reveals that meditation on the lotus feet smashes to pieces the mountain of the devotee's karmic reaction to past sins. It also indicates that whoever holds on to the feet becomes as exalted as Lord Indra, whose weapon is the thunderbolt. Chरणकमल, Jambu fruit, indicates for the residents of Jambudvip, Sri Krishna's feet are the only object of worship. Chरणकमल, upcurving line, Urdhvarekha. This mark signifies that the devotees who cling to their lotus feet as if holding on to a lifeline will be transported to the higher realms. They will not fall down. It shows that such devotees need never be doubtful of their upward passage. They cannot be held captive within the small egg-like material universe. It also indicates path of their feet being free of external designations is very direct. It also reveals that their feet can reach down to the lowest fallen souls and deliver those who have taken shelter of the lotus feet. Chरणकमल. Lotus Ahbujam. The lotus also signifies that just as a lotus grows out of water, similarly those eyes swell with the tears upon holding the divine lotus feet to their heart, receive the highest benefit. This mark also shows the goddess of fortune, Sri Lakshmi Devi, always resides at his feet, rendering humble service. It signifies that his feet are so soft they can only be compared to lotus petals. Chरणकमल. Just as a lotus blooms by day, contracts by night, those who remain steeped in meditation on the lotus feet always feel the blossoming unfoldment of brilliant sattvic ecstasies that dispel the darkness of ignorance. Also means that the bee, Madhup, of the devotee's mind cannot fly beyond the bondage of the dry Gnan, the knowledge, Vairagya, renunciation, without the temptation offered by the superior nectar of Sri Lotus feet, Chरणकमल. When Shree Krishna was physically present on earth about 5,000 years ago, these marks decorated the entire land of Vrindavan. Rajvasis were careful not to step over them. They considered these marks the ornaments of Vrindavan. When Akrurji, Shree Krishna's uncle, came to invite Krishna and Balaram to Mathura, he displayed extraordinary reverence and devotion to footprints he observed on the land of Vrindavan. Upon seeing the footprints of Sri Krishna, Akrurji immediately jumped down from the chariot out of respect, overwhelmed with all the symptoms of ecstasy. He wept and his body trembled out of extreme jubilation. Upon seeing the dust touched by the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, Akrurji fell flat on his face and began to roll on the ground, immersing in dust of Raj. One who intends to visit Vrindavan should follow the ideal footsteps of Akrurji, think of the pastimes and activities of the Lord. Reaching the boundary of Vrindavan, he should immediately smear the dust of Vrindavan over his body without thinking of his material position and prestige. Chरणकमल.